For more on this, I'm joined from London by a royal commentator, Afua Hagan. Thank you so much for joining me. It's great to have you on the show. A lot has been going on in the last almost 24 hours. Let me get my words out. First of all, Andrew is no longer the Duke of York. He's also lost his prince title and his Royal Lodge home. How unprecedented is this moment for the British royal family?
You can't overestimate or underestimate how seismic a shift this is for the royal family and for Andrew, formerly Prince Andrew, now Andrew Mountbatten Windsor. This action hasn't been taken against a member of the royal family in something like 100 years. So this is hugely significant. You cannot underestimate how significant it is that Andrew Mountbatten Windsor, formerly a prince, no longer can use his royal titles and, of course, removed from a Royal Lodge, that 30-bedroom palatial home that he was living in, had a long lease on as well. That lease has been taken away from him, and now he will live on the Sandringham estate. Still another essentially another royal property, but one that is paid for privately by the king, not by the taxpayer. And that's where he will see out the rest of his days.
But I think a lot of people are asking the question, why has King Charles decided to banish his brother now, after years of allegations surrounding his relationship with the convicted sex offender Jeffrey Epstein? Rumours have been rife. It was Prince William who was the ultimate power behind that decision. How much of this can we believe?
Look, we've been talking about Andrew and Jeffrey Epstein in the same sentence, in the same breath for 20 years or more. So you're absolutely right in saying that these rumours about Andrew and his dealings with Epstein have been around for such a long time. I think there's a couple of things at play here. I think, first of all, was the release of Virginia Giuffre's memoir last week, along with this constant drip feed of information that we're getting from the Epstein files about Andrew and what he has been up to. We know he denies all the allegations that have been levelled against him. But what was coming out in the book and what was coming out from the Epstein files, as well as Andrew's involvement with Chinese spies, and then you had King Charles III being heckled while he was in the Vatican City, as well as on an engagement in the UK earlier on this week. I think all these things brought us to the point where yesterday, King Charles, definitely supported by Prince William, decided that enough was enough. And Prince William, when it becomes his turn, when it's the reign of King William, certainly does not want the Andrew problem to be overshadowing his reign. He wants to have drawn a line underneath it before that time comes. Whether this action does do that, whether it draws a line under this affair or not, remains to be seen.
So, Afua, let's talk a little bit about Virginia Giuffre, because speaking to the BBC, Virginia Giuffre's brother suggested Andrew should be behind bars. Could we possibly see him face criminal charges? Now he's basically a normal civilian and has lost all his royal titles.
Well, that could potentially happen. You've got some anti-monarchy groups are pursuing a private prosecution or are talking about that. Yes, Virginia Giuffre's family have asked for him to perhaps be questioned by the Metropolitan Police. There's talk of the US Congress as well, potentially questioning Andrew over what he knows and what he saw during his time when he was spending time with Jeffrey Epstein. Whether that will come to a full-blown conclusion, I think only time will tell. But the calls are growing louder, certainly, for Andrew to face some sort of legal challenge for the accusations that have been levelled against him.
And Afua, as you did mention to me earlier, Andrew has always denied the allegations against him. But what is next for him and for his family, Sarah Ferguson, his ex-wife, and their two daughters?
Well, what's next for Andrew is moving out of Royal Lodge. Now, it's thought that that may take place after Christmas to avoid that awkward question of whether Andrew will join the rest of the family at Sandringham for Christmas. Of course, that's where the royal family gather for Christmas, and that's where he's going to be staying after he leaves Royal Lodge. So that will be the next thing for him. Sarah Ferguson, his ex-wife who he still lives with, is also going to be vacating Royal Lodge into private accommodations. Princesses Beatrice and Eugenie remain unaffected titles-wise by what has been going on, so they still remain princesses. So they are not really affected by what happened yesterday when King Charles III took away the titles from Prince Andrew.
We are talking about the story right now, but we must remember that there's a family behind this. King Charles and Andrew are, of course, brothers, and this must have been something that had to be dealt with really carefully from the royal household as they do try to make sure their reputation is still standing in the public court of opinion. Do you think that King Charles has done enough, quick enough, now to sort of quash the constant rumours surrounding Andrew?
I mean, yes, there is a family behind this, the Windsors, absolutely. I don't think necessarily that they acted quick enough to try and hold Andrew accountable, to try and look like they were doing something about the Andrew problem, that they were trying to hold him accountable for the actions that he has taken in the past. Yes, he's denied the allegations against him, but he was friends with Jeffrey Epstein. We know that to be a fact, and he was a convicted paedophile. But on the other hand, there is the family of Virginia Giuffre, and there is the family of other young women who have been caught up in this type of scandal. Let's think about them, because we also have to centre them in this conversation. Yes, we're talking about Andrew Mountbatten-Windsor, Jeffrey Epstein, Ghislaine Maxwell. We're talking about the royal family, but we also have to think about Virginia Giuffre in this moment and think about what she went through, what it took to write that memoir, to put all that out there, and how her family must be feeling at that moment too. Remember, she talks about other girls that were on the island with her, other girls that haven't come forward either. Yesterday, their Majesties in their statement said that they were thinking about all survivors of abuse and any sexual exploitation, really trying to ally themselves with them. And I think it's important that in all this, we remember Virginia Giuffre, remember any other young people, any other people, full stop, who have been through something like she did.
Afua Hagan, it was brilliant to speak to you. Thank you so much for your analysis.